Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
We're going to give it a few minutes. We're going to share this to a couple pages, let a few people hop on here before we get started. So if you give us just a minute, we'll have it all worked out. Did you find it? All right, we got more and more people coming in. Hey, while we're waiting for some people to join, Kayla, come show everyone what you got. While we're waiting for some more people to join in, Kayla's going to show us something she got when the two women decided to quit yapping over there. Hey, Jason Johnson.
I'm coming.
Here comes Kayla. She's bringing something. What do we have here, Kayla?
This is Sophie. She is a German wire-haired dachshund, and she's going to be the newest tracking machine.
She's already got you wrapped.
Oh, she does. She's so sweet.
So Kayla just got her about
2 minutes ago.
2 minutes ago, and the dog already has her wrapped.
Yes. She's so sweet. So sweet. But yeah, she came from Missouri. From Brad Shoemaker.
Yeah.
Kenny went and picked her up along with his, but just got back. We were just talking about last night, early this morning, and then delivered her to me today. So excited. So this is Sophie.
Are you going to track with her?
Of course.
I don't know. I think you got her spoiled already.
Absolutely. I can't wait to take her home so she can meet her sisters. But
Carrie Patterson said you are not allowed to be at the event unless you bring that baby.
I'll be there. She will be with me.
Sound is not working.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me?
Well, it looks like it's on captioning.
Well, that's because he's not clicking on it.
Oh, okay.
It's working. Ernie Johns, turn the volume button up, or you might have to click on the video.
Maybe operator error.
Yeah. All right, we're getting some viewers. See, you hop on and you bring your puppy, and the viewers start showing up.
Wieners do it every time.
Yeah. So how's everyone doing tonight? Unmute it. We're not muted. I think people aren't clicking on the video is what it is.
Maybe click on the video.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
So, all right. So we're going to get started. What do you have?
Right.
What do you have tonight, Ralph? Oh, thank you, Kayla.
Yeah, no problem.
What do we have tonight, Ralph?
Well, we have our tracking and seminar or tracking event, testing event this weekend and the seminar Saturday. I want to make sure everybody understands you do not have to test to come to the seminar. So anybody's welcome. We got seats still available. So you can go on the website, which is right at the bottom of the screen that you're watching, and you can register there, and we got plenty of seating, so
it's gonna be a good time.
Yep, real good.
We haven't announced all the speakers. We have some surprise speakers that hasn't spoken at any event I've ever been at. Have you?
No, not me either.
Yeah, and one of the top handlers that I've witnessed on a test line, and you could tell it's a wealth of knowledge that's going to come from this person. It's going to be talking about the hunter interview and controlling the track. So that's going to be a good one that you don't want to miss. There's going to be There's gonna be some stuff on training. DNR is going to be there. We're going to have some tracking technologies, talk about some apps, and
with the Garmin, the dog track,
yep,
the
the tracker app. So Tommy Jackson asked, "Will the weather play into seminar?" We have a covered pavilion, so it will not prevent us from having the seminar. And y'all know how the weather can be. It might be 80%, but who knows? We're gonna have it either way. I'll stand out there in the rain if I have to.
Yep.
So
won't be the first time.
No, it won't be the first time. I tested 2 dogs last night pretty much last night, yesterday evening in the rain up in far North Georgia. And it didn't stop us. We tested the dogs. The dogs did great. The handlers did great. And one of those will be testing at the season level at the event and possibly the finished as well. So it's going to be a good time. The vast majority of our testing is scheduled for Friday. And we have some Saturday morning before the seminar starts. But y'all are welcome to come hang out Friday, all day Friday evening, Saturday. We're going to be there all night. Have you found out we can do a campfire? Or?
Can we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to have campfire stories Saturday night. Well, Friday and Saturday night. We're all going to sit around and tell stories and share a lot of valuable information. So it's not just about the seminar part. Come hang out and fellowship, and it'll be a good time. You won't regret it.
I'm trying to share it.
So Ralph's still sharing it, and if y'all don't mind, share it for us. So with the seminar, we have a lot of testing.
Yeah, we've got over 30 tests now, and still got 4 or 5 that have told us they're going to test.
Yeah, every day more and more people are signing up for tests. So we still have a little bit of room if you decide you want to do it. You learn a lot. Every test line, you're going to learn something. So let's see. We're going to have some vendors there.
Yep. We'll have one of the vendors from last time, the Fargo Feed and Seed. And the vet's going to be there again. Graham.
Yep. Yeah, there's going to be some Garmin stuff. Billy Hodgson says fish fry. Yeah, we're going to have a fish fry Friday night. Compliments of Billy. Billy is bringing 4 gallon bags of fish, I should say. So you guys don't want to miss that. Come here. Everyone tell their stories and have some fish, and just it'd be a good time. So speaking of that, with there being a lot of testing, what advice would you give to someone who's testing for the first time?
Lean on your dog and quit worrying so much. You're going to worry. There's nothing I can say to keep you from worrying or being panicked. You're going to feel it, but just don't let that ride over into how you're handling your dog. I've been on hundreds and hundreds of tracks, and I was still nervous, extremely nervous. And I was testing camo, and I was still nervous. So I don't know how to tell you not to be nervous. I'm just warning you, it's coming. Just try not to let that overpower your senses and the way you handle things. That to me is what I see the worst. Everybody worried so much of. I've been hearing just from this seminar, people worrying so much that they almost talk themselves out of testing.
We have had some.
And yeah, and I've talked them back into it. Just don't worry about it. It's just a test. I mean, you're going to learn something. Every time you test a dog, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn what your dog does even better than when you're out on a track, a real track. And that's why the off season, it's still fun. It's a different kind of fun than tracking, but it's still you and your dog are fixing to be a team out there, and you'll see it. Just trust me on that. You will love the experience, and just don't let it don't make it overkill. It'll be okay. And
That's right.
It
treat it as a normal track.
Yep. And don't change nothing. And we tend to trust our dogs on a regular track more so than you do a test. Well, just trust your dog. Your dog, if it's smelling everything the way it needs to, they're going to drag you along for the ride. And that's just, to me, that is the biggest thing that I see.
And I tell you, as a trainer, I get a lot of people that call, "Hey, how much will you charge me for me to come out and watch my dog?" This is a great opportunity.
Absolutely.
You know, it's really not that expensive for the valuable information you're going to receive, and you'll have a different set of eyes watching.
And if somebody that is, say, you're nervous or want to, if the handler is okay with it, they might allow you to go with them and just observe as you're going through the test. Because we like the real world tracking scenario. And how many times have you been out in the woods tracking with 4 or 5 hunters right there behind you? So
that's right.
It's okay if you want it. Now, you have the option of not letting somebody, if you're one of the people testing, if you're the handler, you can say, no, I want to be by myself. But if you don't care, if people want to go, you can go along on these tests. So show up Friday and just hang out, because it's not a formal.
Carrie said, y'all know Mike Alguire going to let everybody go watch. Mike will probably be live on Facebook. Mike is known to do that, isn't he? We ain't picking on you, Mike. We enjoy it. I know I watched your test whenever you went live. Randy Vick said, I'm just so proud to be here, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with Randy. Randy and I, we weren't able to track as much together this year. Of course, we spoke on the phone quite a bit. I consider Randy a very good friend, and I've been so busy this year, and Randy's been busy tracking too, and it's going to be nice to sit around and get to spend some time with Randy again. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So Cameron LaRocca, when is the one in Demopolis again? It is the first weekend in May. Ernie John says, if you fail a test, does it cost the same to retest?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Because we have time and expenses involved, Ernie. But man, I've seen your dog work. We have been on tracks together. You know what you're doing. You don't have anything to worry about. Just get out there and run it like you run a real track. Mike Alguire said, I just tuned in. What did I miss? I heard my name and something about going live. Yeah, we're talking about your finish level test on Sunday, Mike.
We've got 10 people wanting to go view it with you on the trail.
So everyone that's going to be there Sunday wants to follow behind you, and those that aren't able to be there, they want you to go live so that they can see your test. Can you bring a novice dog? He's been in the woods plenty, but not blood tracking. Sure, bring him. Get up with someone, and we'll get out there, and we'll. There's plenty of experienced people that's going to be there that will gladly break away and give you some one-on-one time. I know I'm going to be busy, but I'll find time to help someone out. John Vaughn, he's on here. I know he'll help. Any of us will help. You'll help, you know.
Plus, these tracks only get ran one time. You can run another dog on them after the event,
As a
after the
practice.
testing and practice.
Yep.
So there's going to be plenty of tracks you can do that on.
And we have where there's going to be quite a few judges there. I think we have what 10.
Yep.
10 judges that's going to be there that I'm sure will gladly lay lines for you. We'll even lay some short puppy lines if y'all want to just experience it. We're all here to help each other. We want to see everyone succeed in tracking. We want to get more people involved. We're here to teach, coach, train any way that we can. Mike Alguire said, won't be the first time I went Facebook Live on a test. I did it with Shiloh. I remember, Mike, I was watching it. You know, and I seen those little pieces of biscuit that judge laid along the line for you. What's it going to be this time? I mean, this is
got some gravy this time.
Yeah. You got to have the gravy. There you go. Catahoula. Yeah, I've got a few Catahoulas. So I just got a text message. We are live now. Don't tell my secrets. If they can, Thursday would be a good day for novice and puppies to come and get some help. That would be a great day. Thursday would be good. Sunday morning would be good. We do have a test Sunday morning. Mike Alguire is running his finish test. We need as many people there as we can to follow behind him and make him extremely nervous.
Who's it?
Mike. No, Mike. So we're not going to have anyone follow tests unless they agree to it and they don't mind. The only people that are following you on the test line is your judge and maybe someone that is wanting to become a judge or learning. They may be part of it as well. Mike, we hate you're going to miss the event too. Hopefully you can make one of the other ones we're going to have this year. We'd really enjoy having you there, but we know life gets in the way. So speaking of testing, you know, I went on my way. I went out to the Midwest and talked tracking with some people and talked about testing and our association, what we're doing. You know, we went across 8 states, and our last stop before we got home was in North Georgia and tested 2 dogs. And I tell you, one of the guys was super nervous. His dog did not miss. I mean, his hunter interview was phenomenal. I mean, he didn't miss anything. And I wish I would have videoed it, but I didn't want to make him nervous. We had a judge candidate that actually ran that test under my supervision. And I stayed back and I witnessed this handler put his dog in a downstay about 15 yards from the hit site, walked over there, did a hunter interview. And as he was going through the hunter interview, the dog did try to get up a couple times and he'd say down, you know, and put it in downstay. That dog stayed there, very well behaved. As soon as he was ready, he put the dog on the track, said, find the deer. That dog did not miss. And he was nervous. Well, I just don't know about this dog. And
that's what I was talking about.
Right. And this dog, and I'm gonna give you his name. I hope he doesn't mind. It's Travis Wilson. That dog and handler is a phenomenal team. They nailed that test. And you know, he didn't want it to be a test. He wanted it to be a practice line. I kind of talked him into it a little bit.
We call that lying.
I was helping him out. No, not helping him out on the line. He didn't need any help. Don't get me wrong. Ralph wants to call it lying, but I just call it persistence.
You only lied for about 5 minutes. That's it.
That's right. But anyways, he ended up running a flawless test, no callbacks, didn't get more than 3 feet off the line. And so up there, it's very, very hilly. We went down into a bottom, and we skirted this creek bottom. And he thought for sure his dog was off. I could see he wasn't sure about the dog. The dog was just killing it. And we got to the end. He said, "Well, what kind of feedback do you have? What negative feedback did you have?" I had nothing, absolutely nothing. I think that's probably the first time I said, "Man, I have nothing. You did everything perfect," and I want to give Travis a shout out on that. So after that one, we ran a test line for Coda Stewart. He's not on right now. He had a dinner plans. I asked him if he would come on and share his experience. Coda did a great job. I didn't know the land and the layout. And so when I laid this line, I went down into a bottom. I didn't realize how that, I guess you'd say, a pretty much mountain road, twisted and turned into this bottom. So when I got about to my second 90, and I made the turn, and I look, and there was the road. Well, I needed about 75, 80 more yards. And I'm like, crap, this is a started level test. I really don't want to cross a blacktop road. And I said, you know what? I got to do what I got to do. And so we got there, and it dropped down pretty steep right at the road. I crossed the blacktop, went up on the other side, hit a power line crossing. And I'm like, oh, man. So this is a first level test. I'm like, so now we got a blacktop road we had to cross, a power line, and anyone that's worked dogs knows what happens at blacktop roads and power lines. They want to go either direction. So this was an off-lead test. The dog was just smoking the test. And the dog got to the road. And it was all family that lived back there. He told me ahead of time. Got to the road, he recalled the dog. You could see it on the test line. I should have put it up there. Perfect recall. The dog came right back. We progressed forward. The dog went right across the road perfectly. Got to the other side, and the dog went to the end. Not once, not twice, 3 times went to the end and just kind of veered off. Well, Coda was just standing there, and the dog never got in range where it was a call, or out of range where it was a callback, but it threw Coda off. And he was like, well, I'm going to restart him over here. I'm going to restart him over here. 3 times that dog went to the end, and he didn't catch it. We were only 20 yards away from it, and he just didn't catch it. And it was nerves.
Yeah.
So
once again,
right,
you will get nervous.
So he ran a flawless line. John Vaughn says he can't hear us anymore. I think John, we're going to give him some lessons. He probably clicked out. So anyways, he got all the way to the end, ran a flawless line right there at the end. And if I had the picture, I'd show you some spaghetti noodle looking stuff right there. But he passed. No callbacks. Everything was good. He just got a little nervous right there at the end. And I think crossing that blacktop and then hitting that power line, he probably didn't expect that. But, sometimes we have to do what we have to do. Yep. I had to get the distance. I had to get all the attributes. I had to get the property line. I had to get the wound bed.
And real world tracking, that happens.
Yes, real world tracking. They both enjoyed it. And both of them said, man, this is fun. And it is.
Both are supposed to test coming down to the seminar.
Travis isn't able to make it, but he's going to make it to the one in Demopolis.
Gotcha.
Coda signed up for the season test on Friday, and I think he's I know he's considering, if he passes that, taking the finish test on Sunday. So John says, I can hear again now. Poor John.
If anybody has any, you can ask anything, but especially tonight, because this will be our last uh, live stream before the event. If you have any questions about, tracking or testing this weekend, let us know.
Yep.
And just ask a question on here, and we'll try to answer you best we can.
And I know we've been talking a lot about testing, but until I used to be against testing. I was like, I don't need that. I don't need a piece of paper. Well, my dog puts deer on the tailgates. That's all the proof I need. It's fun.
Absolutely.
Deer season goes out. We don't have anything to track. What better way to keep your dogs working than to attend these events and do this?
And it's fun rooting your fellow trackers on, hoping they pass. It's a blast.
Oh, yeah.
It is just a blast to.
We got a good question here, and I'm going to put it up on the screen. David Shaw, can you go over the hunter interview? Would you like to do that, or you want me to?
You can, but I don't want to go over it too much to the point, because we've got one of our special speakers going to be in depth.
We do. So, David,
probably one of the best hunter interviews that we've ever had.
Yes. This individual, I'm trying not to give it away as to who it is, because you just have to be there and not miss out.
For the sake of the test part from the handler, when you're going up, it's no different than you being out on a regular track, during tracking season. We just want to see and you experience the hunter interview aspect, because you should do it every single time you go to a track.
That's right.
It's just throwing in that real tracking situation. Not going to say there's really no right and wrongs to it. There's definitely better ways to do it, and that's what she's going to talk about at the seminar.
And as far as the test goes, it's not so much a right or wrong.
Right.
We just want to see that you're going through the motions. You're getting the bulk of it. It's more of a teaching or coaching moment,
And there are some brand new trackers that maybe last year we've got some that this was their first year tracking. And so there's some helpful tips that, we might be able to give people. So we bring them through it, because we're not going to assume everybody is an extremely experienced tracker. Some of them are not. And we've had kids running the lines.
Yep.
And so we just want to put them through it. They'll learn. Everybody will learn. If we can help, we're going to help.
That's right. And that's, again, how we developed our test, is a progressive system where, you're learning at each phase. Not only are you learning because you're having to train your dog for the next one, you learn to read your dog, but you're learning different aspects as a handler, like your hunter interview, your hit site analysis, your wound bed analysis, which we have a guest speaker that is making some hit sites and wound beds. We're going to break off and go analyze those, and we're going to have a discussion about them and wait times. That's another really good topic that we're going to be going over. Yep. Travis Wilson, he put a comment here. He said, I will never, testing is nerve-wracking, but it was fun. Thanks for taking the time to stop by. I'll never miss a chance to work my dogs if I can help it. And like I said, that is Travis that I was talking about, he ran a great test. That dog is really good. And just a very well-rounded handler. And the picture we put up for the event, advertising the event this week, I took that picture yesterday evening when we were testing. So, good stuff. David Shaw said thank you. You're welcome, David. We appreciate the question. We love it when y'all are asking questions. It keeps us going. And so Cassidy Long says, at the seminar, will those keychains be available for purchase with the hair and blood? Yes, they will be, along with all of our other stuff.
Yeah, we're going to go over that in just a few minutes as far as all the merchandise, but we have some of the keychains. We don't have a lot of them, but if we order them, because we have to make them, it takes a little bit. So the next batch we'll be able to send out once we see how many we're going to need.
Yeah. And it would be good. You can go on the website and pre-order. So I that would be good for them to do. So that we will bring them to the event. But like Ralph said, we will have some. So go online to our website, which is listed on the bottom of the screen right here, AmericanBloodTrackers.org. All of our merchandise is on the website. You can pre-order, and if you wanted us to bring it to the event, there is a spot there where you can click on shipping for us to bring it to the event for you to pick up, and it will save you the shipping cost. Cassie said, I absolutely want one. It is a great tool. Jason Johnson, here we go. How much more difficult is it to work your dog on lead as opposed to off lead? Whew. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more work to track on lead. I train all of my dogs on lead. In fact, I think there's a lot of benefit to working a full season on lead. You really learn how to read your dog by working on lead. But it is a lot more work. They get tangled up. The little dogs go under everything. The big dogs, they do more circles. They wrap it up. They wrap you up. You're having to drop it to get through thick stuff, pick it back up. It's a lot of work. But you can get the job done. It does change success rates.
Yep.
Drastically. Perry Lawrence says drag you through everything, no doubt. Let's see. David Cook says, do you think tracking would ever turn into a first, second, third competition? David, some people tries to make it a competition, and honestly, it should never be that way. We should all, I think you say it best, we should all have the best interest of the hunter in mind, not self-gratification, self-gain.
Yep.
And the minute you start creating a competition, which is what happens when people start talking about recovery rates and how many deer they found.
That's what leads people to going in too early. It's because they want to jump on a track, and it just, I don't know, just there's all kinds of things that stem from the competition end of things. So I hate it, but it definitely happens. But we've taken our eyes off of the ball when that happens, because it should be. I mean, you might have a dog that's not good for a situation. You should hand it off to a tracker that might be good for that situation. It's all if you've got the right frame of mind and intentions.
So Travis Bozeman chimed in and replied, says, I think he's talking about a field trial type sport for tracking. We have talked about that.
Yes.
It would be fun, just to get a little jab in at your buddy, especially if I can get one in on this guy sitting next to me. No, the field trial stuff, we have came up with some ideas like that.
We've been so busy doing this, we haven't branched off into that, but that has been one of our items that we want to get to do something with, just because we think it would be fun, and it would just, people would have a blast doing it.
Oh yeah.
We just hadn't had time to really hone in on that yet. but it'll get here.
Yeah. So everything's been going so fast. You know, tracking season just ended. Testing season's beginning. You know, this association is just taken off. And we've just been wide open. So we do have future plans for stuff like that, just to make a little fun competition for everyone. That will be coming soon.
We got to have a short leg category.
Yeah, that the I know Camo and I know Icky, so Dixie gets a head start.
Yeah. Right.
Oh man. So Carrie Patterson says, as far as being like a field trial, I don't think there is really a way you could do it. There is. We have some great ideas, Carrie, and we will discuss those Thursday night with the judges. We'll toss around some of the ideas and get some feedback. So I like this question, and I think it's something we do need to talk about. Norman Parks, what do you think about a tracker going ballistic when another team finds a deer behind them? That goes right back to what we just said.
Yep.
Are you in it for the right reasons? Are you in it to recover a deer for the hunter, or are you in it for self-gain and self-gratification? You know, if you're not in it to help your fellow hunters recover a deer, you don't need to be tracking. I'll say it just like that.
Yep.
There's no place for selfishness and just getting out there for bragging rights. How many times have I called you in behind me? A bunch.
Handful. Yep.
You know, and y'all, some of y'all don't know Ralph and I. You know, Ralph, you've been tracking a while now, but to me, you're a newer tracker, and I don't mind calling you in. I know you have great dogs, and one day you may find a deer behind me, and you know what? I'm not too proud for that. I've called Mike Alguire in behind me, Randy Vick in behind me, John Vaughn in behind me. John Vaughn, I called John one night, and I was so frustrated. I knew the deer was dead. My dog, I don't know what was going on with her. She smoked that track and just stopped. I'm like, what the heck? So I called John. I said, John, man, I know this deer's dead. I know we're close. I don't know why she's shutting down on me. Would you please come? He drove out there and didn't go 60 yards. I knew the deer was dead. I mean, like I said, that's what I told him. And you know what? I swallowed my pride. And that was John's first year tracking, if I remember right. Maybe second. No, it was his second. And I swallowed my pride and I called John because I wanted to recover that hunter's deer. That was priority, not my pride. And that's how we need to be. If someone's going ballistic, I feel like they just shouldn't.
Let me give you a scenario that in those situations, if you're the first tracker and something's not going right, I would rather call in a tracker rather than leave and the hunter call in another tracker. So, because you showed the best intentions doing that. That hunter wants that deer and he's going to do whatever he thinks is necessary. Go ahead and bring the other guy in. You're going to be the hero. And so you're also going to keep what I call a customer happy by doing that. And so, because he knows you've got his best intentions or, at heart there. So
that's right.
There's ways to handle all that stuff. There's always many options. That's the best way to handle it if something's going wrong. And you can be the hero and somebody else find the deer.
Yep.
So, we talk about it a ton. Customer service is everything.
That's right.
And you think how you want, but they're the customer. And if you do everything you can, they're never gonna. Me and Jason Bell and Travis hunt. We track a lot together and have a ball together. But in the end, they don't care how it got done. If you find the deer, no matter how you did it, by bringing in another tracker whose dog get what, they do not care. They're going to call you again. So there's ways to handle that stuff. To me, And if somebody, and I'll reverse that question, that guy that gets ballistic, he's dead wrong. Um, and if he done what I've been talking for the last few minutes about, he'd have been a part of the recovery. So, to me, what's his thought process? Just leave the deer?
Yeah, it just
That
blows
there's
my mind.
no positives to nothing he's thinking, nothing he's done, and he could have done more by calling in somebody else. And we've all done it.
Yep.
We've all called in somebody else, and you know, it just I don't know. I'm not that way, so it's kind of hard for me to think that. But it just
And Randy Vick's on here. Randy will tell you. Randy has called me many times,
it,
many times, and Randy is a great tracker. Um, anyone that knows Randy knows that he's been in this game a long time. Randy has called me many, many times. Says, Kenny, I feel like you could get this deer. Will you come up here? And just about every time I get in the truck and I go, and I found a lot of deer with Randy doing that. And I've done the same with Randy. I've called Randy, man, I feel like this deer is dead. I need some help. I don't know what's going on with my dogs today. Anyone I track for will tell you I always, anytime I don't find the deer, first off, I'll tell them up front, hey, I feel like this deer's going to be live if that's the case, or if my dog's not doing something's going crazy, I'll pull another dog out. Every person I track for that don't recover a deer, I say, would you like for me to call someone else for a second opinion? Every time. There's no shame in a deer being found behind you. So, and Norman responded. I know we kind of got off on a little tangent because I can't stand that someone that I got to get back up here to it. Someone that can't swallow their pride. So Norman said, in one case this year, I knew the hunter was going back to look, so I recommended that another tracker go with him. I did not tell the first tracker, and he flipped. I don't think he would have if the deer was not found. Again, there's no reason for someone to flip out. I mean, that's childish.
And Norman, I will guarantee you that first tracker hopes you don't find that deer, and that's just wrong. That shouldn't happen.
No one wants to
we
leave a
don't
deer
like
in the
it.
woods. Right.
Yeah, but we don't like it if somebody does. But it just is what it is.
If you find a deer behind me, please call and tell me. I want to know. I want to know where it was, what happened, so that it may be a dog had a bad day. Maybe there's a training opportunity. Maybe I made a mistake. I want to know it. Randy Vick says, it sure feels good to find one behind a drone, though. Yeah, we found a couple behind drones this year. But drones have their place, and I know that. It's the technology is here. And I personally, I think there's a place for it. I just think there's some things that needs to be worked out. See, Mike Alguire chimed in. Let's see what he had to say. Just like a couple of years ago when me and the dogs were absolutely whooped and I knew the deer was dead and I knew my dogs were not tracking properly due to being exhausted, and I called you with no hesitation. You were there and recovered. Yep, I remember that one. And I was right there that year. I think it was 2 years ago. Mike and I think we both ran like 8 or 10 tracks that day. We were freaking whooped, but we worked together as a team and we recovered the deer.
And I'll get up from dinner. I'll quit doing whatever I do, and if a tracker calls me to back him up, I'm coming. There is no doubt.
Yep. So, long spur tracking and outfitting. Love it, guys. Keep it up. 100% backing up here. We had to call in Andrew Darby, Devin Brown, and Jen the Chocolate Lab behind us this year. They advanced a half mile and found what was left of the buck in a creek. We had 2 young dogs that were confused. I love this. Everyone chiming in. Long spur, Sean, we appreciate the support. By the way, your booth looked awesome. Did you see his booth at that event?
Yep.
Man, that was an awesome booth. And Sean, we appreciate you out there promoting tracking to the hunting community, and that's what we have to do. Without hunters, we won't be trackers. So Mikey Maynard says, just tuning in, new handler this year. I have 2 pups I'm training for this upcoming season. Any advice on how I should handle training them? First off, I recommend you come to the event, and Mike, you can give us a call. You know that John and we've supported you. We'll continue to support you. Anyway, it's hard for me to give advice on here unless it's a specific question, because every dog in every situation calls for a different type of training. Everything is dog specific and handler specific, to dog and handler together.
What type of dogs does he run?
He has 2 Ladner Blackmouth Cur pups that he got from Chris Wilson that he's training, and so Mike went through our mentorship program this year on the Florida Blood Trailing Network, and he has done great things.
Cool.
He's really stepped it up, and I'm proud of you, Mike. You've done a great job this year. Travis Sykes says, send them to Kenny to train. He's one of the best. We actually worked with one of Mike's dogs, and that's another reason Mike has made us so proud. We love seeing these dogs we work with get out there and find deer, but we're laying a foundation, and it takes work after the training. And you've been a staple that you've really put in the time. Mike's putting in the time. I mean, and we love it. We're going to support you 110%, no doubt. You can give John and I a call. Carrie said, come to one of the seminars, no doubt. We would love to see you there. And Norman Parks says, I feel like calling another tracker is a win-win deal. You either confirm your dog was right or the deer was found. I agree. And not to mention, it's a blast working with another tracker.
Oh, love it.
If I can do it, if I'm not just so backed up that I have to move on to the next one and I call someone else out, we're working together. Mike will tell you 2 years ago, it was the very first track of opening season, and I knew this deer was alive. It was a high intestinal shot. I told the hunter, I said, look, we're not going to get this deer tonight. It's going to die. And I said, it's probably going to die right here, because we were right in its bedding area. There's no doubt we were in the bedding area. And I just, you know what? I'm going to call Mike just to confirm, because I could tell that I knew my dog was right. I knew what the outcome was going to be, but I could tell that hunter did not have confidence in what I was saying. And it was a younger kid. He just didn't know a lot about tracking wounded deer. Mike came out there and confirmed. I mean, his dogs hit the line, went the same way, jumped the deer. We pushed it across the road. You could see the tracks. You could see where it was dragging. And we both told him, hey, your deer is going to expire. It's likely going to be right here in this general area. And sure enough, the next day, they found it dead. And it did a big loop. It came right back. Everything worked out exactly how I said. But I appreciate Mike for his willingness to come out there knowing that he was only coming out there to help ease a hunter's mind. But we did that because we didn't want to lose that hunter's confidence in trackers.
Yeah.
And so at that point, it wasn't about finding a deer or, thinking my dogs was wrong. It was about earning that hunter's trust and educating that hunter so that he will trust the process the next time. And that's something that's not talked about a lot.
Yep. And sometimes even your hunter interview, I have changed and called. I've had James Long a couple years ago. We had a track, and I said, man, this could go either way. And so I called him, and it's kind of late in the season, so we weren't stacked up with tracks. So shoot, he piled in the truck with me, and we both went and had two sets of dogs, depending on which way, the track went. And ended up we both put out just to confirm everything. But sometimes a little planning up front can save some time later, and it's just fun to have people with you. We have a ball.
That's right. That's right.
And so there's just a little strategy in the beginning at the onset. You got your bases covered, and that's hard to do at the beginning of the season, but later, say after Thanksgiving, we're not that busy. So
right. Now we are where I'm at.
Right, but not us over here. So it's, that's when we seem to group up more, just because we have time to go with other people.
That's right. Mike Payton, he made a good comment here. He said, I called Scott Heath to help track with me when I had an overheated dog. I told the hunter it was an ideal situation for him. It gave my dog the ability to freshen up, and he had two good tracking teams to recover the deer.
Yep.
That's another thing. Know the limitations of your team, not your dog, your team, yourself and your team. And there are times where you and your team may have limitations where it may be best to call someone else. And Randy and I have done that with each other over the years many times. I'm sure Randy will chime in and say that. Michael Knight said Randy came behind the last week, and he'd like to know if you missed this one. Mitchell Smith said, I want to know if I've made a mistake. I'm more prone to it than my dogs. This has been a good topic right here. Randall Duvall put that up there. He says, keep up the great work, guys. The tracking community is a family, and you guys are helping bring us together. And that's what it's all about.
Yep.
And what we're talking about right now, calling someone in or having someone come in track behind you, we're a family. We should all be working together. Like Florida Blood Trail Network, Georgia Blood Trail Network, Mississippi, Alabama. It's all networking. And that's what it should be. It should all be networking. Stop the bickering. I'm seeing it every day, the bickering in the groups, and I've been part of it. I've been guilty of it. I'm not saying that I'm some innocent angel who hasn't made mistakes, because I've probably made more than most of you. Ralph get on to me all the time. But we got to stop it. We need to be a family, and we need to be
it works better this
work
way.
Together, yes. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Randall. And Randall, we will see you in about a week and a half.
Yep.
So while he's on here, let's just go ahead and touch on that. We're going to Louisiana.
Yep.
And
the weekend, not this weekend, but the next, obviously.
That's right.
And
we have 20-something tests to run there. I believe his event is full.
Yep.
But we can still test dogs. If you are in the Louisiana, Mississippi area, and it doesn't, Arkansas, wherever, you can come there. We will be able to provide testing, and we really appreciate Randy Duvall and his support. There's going to be, again, great teaching, some camaraderie, and
he's got a lot of, according to him, a lot of new trackers going to be testing.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. A lot. He has been in communication with me. Him, Chuck, and Brandy Darby. They're hosting an event in Mississippi after our event in Demopolis in May, and they've had a lot of people that's just nervous about testing. They don't know what it is. They don't know what to expect. So we'll get some videos out there to maybe help ease people's minds, and they can understand the process. We're not out there to beat anyone up or nitpick. We're there to help. And I don't know if Kayla would come in here and share her experience or not. But I think it would be good. I think it would. Yeah, Kayla, do you mind sharing something with everyone real quick? just real quick. So I'm putting her on the spot. She's over there playing with her new puppy, and but I think it would this would be good.
Sit in.
Sure.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was
That's fine.
playing with my new puppy.
So we've had people, and we were talking about like in Mississippi, things come up, and we have a lot of new people that's never tested, and I thought it'd be good if you'd share your experience with your first test.
Oh, it was. I'm glad I tested. I was nervous about doing it because I haven't. It's the rut pretty much. I feel like it's kind of stopped here around Thanksgiving was the last time that I tracked with my dog. Just didn't really have a lot of calls after that. So it had been probably 3 months since I worked with her, and then going to track with her, I was able to identify in the test situation things that I need to improve on, and then things that I needed to be able to pay more attention of what she was doing. And I worked out the nerves on the first track. We could have nailed it if it wasn't for me. I'm gonna be honest. But it was good working that out. And now I knew what I needed to work on and what how to read her better and what she could work on. So I'm ready to test again.
At any
this
point,
weekend.
did you feel like you were being singled out or set up for failure?
No.
Or do you feel like you really benefited from even though you did not pass the test? And do you feel it was a benefit?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what did we do with you afterwards?
Okay, so afterward, Kenny took me on the track again with the dog, because at this point we knew the track, and I did as well. Because the problem was I've always laid tracks myself for my dog. I've never gone well, I shouldn't say that. I've gone on blind tracks when I actually track a deer situation, but I've never done a mock track with someone else's laid. So I've always known what the track looked like. So in this situation, I didn't know the track. And going back on it a second time, Kenny was able to help me identify the behaviors of my dog and how she was acting when she was on it, and then how she was acting when she was off of it. And watching her correct herself, I did learn, and I've known this, my dog wants me to be with her. She seeks approval from me and wants me to follow her very closely. She does not want to go ahead more than really 30 yards maybe. So on the second track, I was able to follow her a lot closely, and she would correct immediately and went straight to the hide she probably did it in 12 minutes.
Yep.
And the first track we did it took us right at almost 38 minutes.
And I wasn't the judge on the line, but
Yeah,
I was behind. I was watching. I actually recorded it so that you could see, because I knew your nerves were getting to
Yeah,
you.
they were.
It was 100% nerves. I mean, no doubt. Her dog was actually nailing it the first time. Her nerves got to her.
Yep.
And she really didn't believe what you were telling her till she saw the video.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was nerves that even did that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was ready. I'm like, let's do this again. Let's lay a track.
Yeah.
But we didn't have time. It was getting dark. So
right.
I'm ready now.
But we made sure we took that time to go
Absolutely.
back over it with you so that you would be prepared for the next one. So for the ones that are out there that are nervous and never done anything like this, I just thought it'd be good if you come and share the experience that you had.
Yeah, it was, I learned a lot from that. Even though I'd already been on tracks, I learned so much just from that test about myself and my dog. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but people were
No
talking
problem.
about it, and what better way for people to feel better about it than to hear experience like
That's
that.
Right.
Norman Park says, "Have a great event. Would have come, but decided I needed to keep life another year." How do I correct a new puppy on a mock track? So it really depends on what's going on. So it would be great if you're going, and I believe you are going to be at the event.
Yep.
Let's plan on getting you paired up with someone so that we can see what's going on and we can give you some hands-on feedback, and we will gladly do that, Tommy. Um,
Can I add something just to that?
yeah, yeah,
If, and obviously there's tons of things that the correction part could cover. Me personally, all I do on a simple answer to that question, which is not a simple question, I bring them back, not correcting from a getting onto them stage or something. I always come back with almost like a treat scenario to bringing them back to the blood or bringing them back to the trail.
to where you knew they were on it.
Yep, to where I knew they were, to create a positive situation for a young dog, because all they're looking for is good stuff. They'll grow into the learning it themselves, and they'll most dogs that do this, they're looking for that also. They just might not have the ability at that moment to do it. They'll get into it. But to me, I almost want to see. So take note to this too. I don't know. Um, to me, and each dog's different. I want them to get off. I want them to. I want to see them when they're not on the track almost more than I want to see them when. I don't want them to run a flawless track every time. I want to learn, especially in the beginning. I want to see what they're doing. I want to see, whether how their tail's wagging. I want to see how their body movement is when they get off the track and what it looks like when they come back to the track. I've laid tracks with flags across the uh, just like a pasture, just so I could see the trail and sit back and just turn the dog out and let it, like I'm casting it, just to go find it. I want to see what that dog does when it hits that track and then when it gets off that track.
That's right.
And so, me personally, there's never a bad track. There's never a track you can't learn something on. And you can never learn your dog good enough to say, I'm done learning. And
right.
Every time you know a track, watch your dogs. That to me is the absolute part of this that I can't get enough of, is watching a dog when I know it's off the track and then watching it when it gets back on the track. And that, I don't know. And other people, I'll tell them what my dog's going to do, and they'll go, I saw it. And I'm like, yep, she just did that. And boom, she's on it. And it's fun. There's nothing to me better than knowing and reading your dog. And that's how you do it. And so just create that positive, get them back to the track. You're going to learn also.
So there's going to be a lot on training.
Yep.
We're going to have a whole segment on training that you don't want to miss this weekend. And when John and I, when we finish with a dog and we call the owner and we want them to come pick up their dog, when we lay a line, we intentionally set that line up with areas where that dog is going to mess up or try to. Sometimes it doesn't work out. But the reason why is so that they can see how that dog reacts and see how to read that dog when that dog gets off the track. We like I said, we try to intentionally do that. And if I'll go off on a tangent about this, so I need to watch myself because we're going to go over a lot of this stuff at the seminar. And I could spend hours on this right here, but that's a good question. And like you said, you learn your dog when your dog screws up.
Oh yeah.
So that's where I'm gonna leave that at. But Tommy, we will cover that at the event. there's no Rob Paul talking about, he went on track, took it 1,400 yards, wound bed, and his dog quit. Another tracker came in, confirmed that his dog was right. And sometimes just that alone is a confidence booster for us. Perry Lawrence says, I'm running the off lead test this weekend just so I can get advice and see what I'm doing right or wrong. Jet has been working on lead the whole 4 years now, but I need to go off lead for my sake. You're never too old to learn new tricks. That's right. And I spoke with Perry on the way here. And, I know Perry's dog very well. I actually gave Perry that dog. And Perry's a good handler, great guy. And I really like him doing this. Not because he's coming to test. Don't get me wrong. He's reaching out and saying, and he could have came to us. He knows he could have came to our house. I mean, he hunts in our hunting club. He's got a camper right there. I mean, he's always right there. But going to things like this and knowing that you may have some other people that may see something or have a tip, I learn all the time. And Perry's on the right track, and that's what makes Perry such a great handler.
Yep.
Let's see, Mike Alguire. This question hasn't been asked, so I will ask just so everyone will know. What are the time limits on the test tracks? Such as amount of time does each level have to sit before being run, and how much time is allowed to run that particular test? So you can go on our website, which is right there on the bottom, AmericanBloodTrackers.org. Our testing procedures and the lines are on there. Our started level test, which is our entry level, it has to sit a minimum of 2 hours, a maximum of 4. And we do that to remain consistent because that's our whole focus in this program is consistency. There is a maximum time to run that test, which is 30 minutes. The average time to run that test has been 11. I had to look back, but I think it's 11 minutes and 51 seconds on average. So we are tracking this stuff because sometimes, we may get it wrong and have to adjust things, and we understand that. And sometimes, dogs work at a slower pace, and things happen. We've discussed it. What happened with Rob Paul's?
Yep.
There's time limits. 30 minutes on that one. The season test and that test is 400 to 500 yards long. The season test is 800 to 1,000, 8 to 12 hour lay time. 60 minutes time limit to run that test. And then the finished is 1,000 to 1,200 yards, 12 to 16 hour lay time. And that one's an hour and a half. There are some more challenges in there besides just the distance and the time. There's some scent challenges, some other animal challenges, and that's why the extended time limit on that one. And that one, the average run time on that one's been about, if I have to go back and look, because we haven't had anyone pass that one yet on an official level.
Right.
We've had it on the what's the word I'm looking for? The basically when we were developing and testing these lines, we've had some dogs pass it, and the average has been 49 minutes on that one. Hi, Uncle Ralph.
Hello, Ryan.
Okay, here's a good question. Can you skip a level, or do you have to pass level 1 or whatever before you can do level 2?
Definitely.
You do have to go in order, and the reason why is because of the handler aspect. We are certifying the handlers as well as the dogs. It's a team, and it's developed with a progressive system. Like the first one we talked about, the started level test, you have the hunter interview, you have a property line. So with it being an entry level test, it's kind of entry level basic handler side of things. Then when you get into your season, that's when you really start getting more in depth, where you get into hit side analysis. You're not showing the direction of the line, so you have to trust your dog and work your dog and line that out. You have a wound bed analysis. You have a property line where you have to wait, and if you're on a off lead test, you have to recall your dog so it doesn't cross that property line. You have to wait 5 minutes like you were calling for permission. So that's why we have it set up where you have to go in order, because there's a progressive system where we can see your progress and your development as a handler. So you are not able to skip for those reasons. So we have a question here. This is Travis from Maryland. Ralph, you helped judge us last year in Alabama. We failed our first test due to my nerves. The year before, and almost did the same with you. We learned at a PhD level from the failure and the successful test.
Yep.
And I got to meet Travis as well. We all got there a little early, and that's one thing I love about these events is meeting these trackers and then getting to follow them. He may not know this, but I followed Travis this year on social media and
me too.
His recoveries, and
he's from Maryland.
Right. And my knee just locked up on me. And that's another thing about these events is building these relationships. And like I said, I haven't got on his social media a lot and chimed in, but I have followed him and I've enjoyed seeing those stories and making those
what
friendships.
Do you mean you haven't been on social media chiming in?
On his.
Oh.
On his. What are you trying to say, Ralph?
I said what I said.
And I did miss a comment earlier, or a question. Corey Griner asked when the next event was. The next event is this weekend, Corey. We want to see you there. No excuses. No. So after that, you can go on our website and our Facebook page, and all of our events are listed. We do have about 3 more events in the works. So we have 4 on the books right now. And I know of at least 3 more in the works that are all over the country. And I want to give a shout out to Brian. Trying to remember last name, Deegan, I believe it is. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Brian just became a judge in Michigan.
Oh, cool.
So I'd like to congratulate you on that, Brian. Brian's a solid guy, and he's doing some good work. Chuck Darby, reading the body language, absolutely. Travis Sykes said the same thing. Reading the body language is so key. I like this one. Mitchell Smith, being able to tell a hunter what your dog is going to do before he does it is an awesome experience for the tracker and the hunter. They are always amazed. And they always doubt you less. When you can tell them up front what is going to happen.
Absolutely.
And then it happens, it all unfolds. It eases their mind so much more. And Chuck is tagging a lot of people here.
Yeah.
We appreciate that, Chuck.
Thank you. Carrie right there.
Yeah, Carrie. Which said you cannot skip levels. Is that what you're talking about?
No, fly right. Keep going down.
I'm all the way down.
No, go up 3. Up 2. Right.
Oh, there. Florida next year.
Absolutely.
Yes. We probably this year too. Don't count it out. It may be closer to the beginning of the season to do a kickoff like we did in Fargo this year. Yep. We are talking about it. And we are definitely having a Florida one next year. But we are likely to have a kickoff event. And, another thing we need to talk about is, it doesn't have to be a seminar.
No.
So if you want us to come out and provide judges, even just a testing weekend, and actually Longspur, Sean, we've talked to him about that. He's asked about testing in the West Virginia, Maryland area and all that. And we told him, hey, we'll come up just for a testing weekend.
Yeah.
And can't forget Tennessee. I don't know if Stacy's on here, but Stacy has been working on planning. Kenny and Stacy has been working on planning an event for Tennessee. So I had to say that to motivate them to. So if you're watching this, Stacy, I know you are at some point. You may not be on right now, but I know you or Kenny or both of you are on here. So I'm calling you out. Get on the ball. No. And I think your wife's looking forward to that one.
Yes. It's around Gatlinburg.
Yes.
That'll be a good one.
So here's a good one. Tommy Jackson, is it open to come watch the test Friday, or do I need to pay to watch?
Dude,
come on, Tommy. And I can tell you, I can't speak for everyone. Some people may not want you tagging along on their test lines. Feel free to tag along with me. I'm quite confident John Vaughn will say that you could tag along and follow him on his test lines. John is, well, let me rephrase it. I was about to say John is asking to handle one of my dogs. John is demanding to handle one of my dogs. So one of my Catahoulas for sure will be testing, and John will be handling it. And my son, he is not in here, Dakota, is going to be handling a dog on a test for the first time. And you know what? I know this dog can pass the test. I don't know if Dakota has it in him to pass it, but you know what? Even if he fails, it's a good experience, especially for a kid. Braden Terrell, testing weekends would be great. Hard to make some seminars with work schedules. Yeah, and we do have private testing every level except for finished. Finished is done at an event, and really, it's because of the amount of workload it takes multiple people to administer that test.
Carrie's whining.
This year, heck, I feel left out then. You won't be left out. I promise you that, Carrie. We are not leaving you out. You're doing great things with us, and we appreciate your work. And I don't want to do it, so you're not being left out. So again, we appreciate Chuck tagging everyone. Y'all have any questions? Get them into us. Go scroll up. Make sure I didn't miss any.
While he's doing that, a couple of the other, was talking about the items that we've got. We've got in a couple of new items this week that we'll have at the seminar. Two of them are my hat and these two hats that we got here. Take yours off. This is the one, and then he's got the other one there.
Turn it the right way.
So we got hats. Supposed to have some charcoal hoodies. We're supposed to have those by the seminar. I don't have a sample of those. We showed you the shirts last week. We've got t-shirts in the charcoal and the orange, in short sleeve and long sleeve, in all of the sizes. And everything I believe is on the website also, except for the hoodies.
Correct.
So you can view them on the website. And as we've got some, we won't have them for this event, but we'll have some dog bowls in the near future. So
and how does this help us? This merchandise. I mean,
it lets us be able to travel and not have to worry about if it's killing us on gas, or we can go to smaller events.
Yep.
We can go,
hotel rooms and for the judges and
sometimes we have to pay for venues, and sometimes we got to pay for that stuff whether one person shows up or 50 show up.
Yep.
So it just I don't know, it just goes right back into it to
Right.
where
We're not making money.
no, God knows. And so it just helps to keep the ball rolling.
That's right.
And it and it just, I don't know, just creates a camaraderie when we're doing this to where.
And the other thing, people see us. So I get this a lot. If I'm wearing like this shirt or one of my other shirts,
Yeah.
and we're in the store, and people start asking questions.
Yep.
You know, and it opens up those conversations where we can educate and promote what we do. So Mike Aguirre says, can you please not let me just put that up so everyone can see. Mike says, can you please not forget the Popeyes biscuits for Debo's test Sunday? Y'all both know that's the only way he will track. Unless it's KFC, he hates them. So we need to get some KFC biscuits to put on that trail as a distraction. Appreciate you giving us a little tip there, Mike. Good luck. So Jacob Thomas says, when's the competition / field trials coming? Stay tuned, Jacob.
We've got to do so. That's the third one tonight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We might have one this weekend. You never know. You got to show up to see. Ralph has to give me a head start. Carrie Patterson says, I can do testing on my hunting club if needed. Absolutely. We appreciate that, Carrie, and same with mine. We have about 22,000 acres there, and a lot of state land. You have land we could run tests on, and trust me, we will travel. I am not. The last 2 days we went across 8 states. I'm not afraid to travel, and I love this. That's what I was telling Coda and Travis last night. They kept thanking me for they're 5.5 hours from me, something like that, and they were so thankful. But I love it. I feel like I made a friendship for life, and grew the tracking community, and nothing better. So Carrie said, I have 2,000 state land close by too. Yep. And we've been there.
Yep.
We went there and we worked with Carrie when she was starting to become a judge. And it's good property. Carrie did a great job. And, we shared it before, but she brought up some stuff that, she made, I guess you would say, a mistake. I don't know if it's really a mistake, but kind of
figured it out before it became a mistake.
So she laid a scent challenge for one of these tests, and she started running her dog, and before she even got to it, she said, oh crap, I shouldn't have laid it that way. My dog's gonna bypass that. And it did.
Yeah.
So that was a learning lesson for all of us, to make sure that we included that in our training for these judges.
Because that's one of the things that we bring up when we're talking with other judges, is that situation, because it's easy to make it happen, and you don't want to do it. It's not the dog's fault, so we just want it to be the way we need it to be for the testing aspect of it. She realized it.
That's right. So Billy Hodgson asked a good question right here. How much land do you need to host a testing weekend? So Billy, on average, it's about 4 to 5 acres per started test. About 8 to 10 acres for a season test, and a finished test, it could take more, but about 10 to 12, maybe even 15, depending, because we have to meet some challenges in that one, some terrain challenges. So an environmental challenge that we have to meet in that one. At a minimum, that one takes about 10 acres, but depending on how the environmental and challenges work out, sometimes it may take a little more. It also depends on how many people. Um, so hopefully that answered your question. Chuck Darby, we have plenty of room left for both the events in North Mississippi, seminar and testing. Yes, we can't forget about that, Chuck, and we will be promoting that pretty hard. And you're right there by several states that hopefully will jump in on that.
And we'll start promoting that one also
Absolutely,
pretty hard.
I'm excited about that. When I drove right by there. I shouldn't say right by there, but I drove near that area 2 days ago. That's some beautiful country right there. And I know I'm planning on going on a fishing trip when I get there.
What?
I'm planning on going on a fishing trip when I get there. You going?
Yeah.
Chuck, you going to join us for that fishing trip? So here's a good one, and I want to share something on this one. Craziest request for a track. This is from Jordan Norris. Craziest request for a track other than deer. I got called to track a gecko. So you're going to like this one, and you may think that I'm making this up. My wife can confirm that this is 100% legit. So I got a call from a tracking list on an organization's website. This lady calls. She says, I need someone to help track my dead dog. I was like, okay. She said, my dog went missing and has made contact with me and told me that it is dead. And this dog was killed by her neighbor. This dog told her that her neighbor killed the dog, and that if she can get another dog there, her dog's spirit will lead them to where that dog was buried on the neighbor's land, so that they can prosecute the neighbor. That was my strangest track request.
Okay.
Yeah. What about yours?
Just cats and dogs. That's all mine is. I've never had any. Not a weird one.
You calling that weird?
What?
That lady's dog was talking to her.
Yes.
Oh man, I forget about that from time to time, and that was crazy. Yeah, I'm going up. This is Brian. Chuck Darby, how can I watch this besides right now? Brian, this will stay up on the American Blood Trackers Association Facebook page, YouTube, the Mullins Dog Training. You can find it on any of those. Anyone that shared it should stay on their page. But you can go back and watch it at any time. Let's see. Jeff Still, have you put together the tutorial on the Garmin 300 for laying tracks and tracking yet and making it Mississippi redneck understandable? I have, Jeff, and I apologize for not sending you that link. I did post it in the American Blood Trackers group, on the Mullins Dog Training, and where else did I post it? I can't remember, but YouTube, it is on there. You think it was simple on how to set up the Garmin? Did it cover most stuff?
Yeah, it covered most stuff. I know my Garmin pretty good, and I learned some stuff, so it definitely is helpful.
So, Jeff, shoot me a text. If you can't find it, shoot me a text and remind me to send you a link. And I apologize that I forgot to send that to you. I just get busy and I forget. Jason Johnson, where in North Mississippi? Okay, Chuck already answered that one. Let's see. Crappie Capital. I'm ready. You ready? Man, Chuck, I'm looking forward to meeting you, but that's really what I'm looking forward to. Nah, I enjoy the event. Um, Jordan Norris says, I'm pretty sure this was part of the same organization. So here's the good one. I got a call from a lady to track her son that had run away 2 days earlier. Wow. You know, we had a person in my town went missing the other day, and they called a dog out there. It was 2 hours afterwards. The dog couldn't follow the scent trail, and John told me today, he's like, man, we've got to train a dog for search and rescue. So that's our next mission. John and I will be working with the local emergency management, and we will have a search and rescue dog. Let's see, Chuck Daugherty, mine was to track horses that were lost on national forest. For some horses that had been out over a week, there was actually someone looking for a tracker in Ocala area. I think it was that was wanting someone to track horses.
That one for Jeff right there. Will, the next one.
Thanks, I will find it.
Yeah, he's talking about the Mississippi. We'll have links and pin drops and stuff on the site to where just give us a little time. We'll have all those to where it'll be easy to find.
Yeah. This is a good one. You know, Mike has all the crazy stuff happen to him. Mike's just a magnet for crazy. I guess crazy attracts crazy. Is that what it is? Craziest call was to track a drone that the battery died in, and it went down. He said he watched videos where the dogs took scent from the batteries in the remote. Wow. To be able to track a drone, I told him that's not how that works. Not even with bloodhounds. You know, tell a story about, so before Mike had a tracking dog, he called me out to track a deer, and I still have the picture. And we're tracking on this property. Mike didn't tell me about what we were about to come across. And we're tracking along, and, I'm looking down, I'm focused on the ground, and I look up and I shine the light, and there's this old car with a skeleton in it, a full body skeleton. Middle of the woods, like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, holy, what the heck is this? Evidently, the guy that owns the land sets up a little haunted tour and had this skeleton in there. I'll find the picture, and I'm going to share that picture with you guys. I'll never forget that moment. That was something. Yeah, that was Mike said that car is still there with the skeleton. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find that picture. That was something. Mitchell Smith tracked a bobcat that was shot with a thermal. Slowest he's ever tracked. I successfully tried to track a turkey my daughter shot with her bow. It flew. I have recovered quite a few turkeys, actually. And some of them did fly, but the people. So turkey season's not that far away.
Yep.
If you have a deer tracking dog, you'll probably track a turkey. I've found turkeys. So one bit of advice I want to give to you turkey hunters that may be watching: be mindful of where that turkey went down when it flew, or if it flew, because we can bring the dogs out. We can get on that point, and they can trail the turkey.
And be prepared for the flush.
That's right. So when I was in the Midwest, there were some questions that came up that I feel we need to touch on. I'm not going to say their names because they may not want me to share it, but one question was, are we going to have a tracker map? Right now we have so many irons in the fire. We have talked about it. We talked about it today. But right now, what we are promoting is the tracker app. Um, Especially for there was one individual in particular. The way that he tracks, he does a lot of traveling, and where there's a lot of people here that does a lot of traveling, and that app will follow you in real time, and you will get tracks um, in that area. So let's say you're in another state on vacation, you just have or hunting, and you have a tracking dog. That app will follow you in real time, and you can get tracks in that area. So that's a good feature. Um, uh, I need to get on Sean's. You know, he asked me to get on his. I've just been so busy, so I don't have a lot of information. I'm sure he can share it. Um, but we will be going over some of those features at the seminar this weekend. Um, but like I said, we've got a lot of irons in the fire, and I know that a map is wanted by a lot of people. There's been a lot of people requesting that, and that's something we're looking into and working on. Chuck said it's not legal to track turkeys there. Wow, that's interesting. Chuck, we might need to see about getting that fixed in the name of conservation, especially. I mean, that's there's a lot of time, money, and effort put into the turkey population, and if you can use a dog to recover a turkey. Now, I'm not saying necessarily hunt turkey with dogs, obviously, but if you can recover a downed turkey and it saves another one from being taken, that's huge for conservation.
Yep.
Same with deer. Um, so I believe we have covered all the questions, and some more may come in. But is there anything that you wanted to touch on, Ralph?
We mentioned it last week, but we'll get y'all to try to get this magazine.
I'll see if I can hold that closer where they can see the Southern Hound Hunting Magazine, and
they're going to be at the event Saturday, and he's got apparel and hats. I got one last time he was at the seminar, and they have asked us to. They come out. Let me back up. They have every quarter they have a magazine go out, and they've asked us to have a column in it every edition. So that was wonderful to get the word out, and that's ours from this past January. So Kenny did a good job writing that one up.
Thank you.
And
I seen on their Facebook page, so they need to follow their Facebook page.
Yep.
They're encouraging. They want a whole magazine with the youth.
Yep.
And so we had a very young boy that handled a dog on a test and passed.
Yep.
So that may be something that we share in that next magazine article, because these kids, they're our future, and we need to get them out there. That's why I said my son, hopefully he's able to handle a dog on a test. He's been out there helping judge some of these lines. I shouldn't say judge. He's been out there helping lay lines, and he assisted a judge, by reading the garment and measuring how far the dog got off the line. And it's great. He's 17 years old, and he's showing some interest, and I'm proud of him.
And also, if anybody has some videos or pictures of kids. We can't put everybody's, but send it so we can get some good article information. And Mike can use some pictures to put in the magazine. So send them to us. We'll try to do something.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. And Brad Shoemaker said, "You guys are doing great. Lots of info that I didn't know after 10 years of tracking." And we all, I feel like, or I know I learn something every year, all the time. So, and I've learned stuff from people who just started tracking. You know, it's not always the veterans that you're learning from. So keep that in mind. Mike Maynard said, "My son Kaysen, he's 10 years old. He went on most of the tracks with me this year. He loves it. He wants to film the tracks." Shoot, I enjoy watching them.
Yep.
Just be mindful of what you put on social media. Travis Bozen says, "My 13-year-old daughter goes on as many tracks with me as possible." So share a story about Travis Bozeman. Travis Bozeman is a heck of a houndsman, a woodsman. So years ago I had shoulder surgery, and I think it was, I can't remember if it's the next day or 2 days after my surgery. And this ties into what we talked about earlier. Another tracker, Dustin Williams. Dustin had one of the best dogs I ever seen. Mac, he passed away this year. Dustin went out there and tracked the deer, and Dustin called me and said, "Man, I don't know what I know the deer's dead." He said, and Dustin tell you to this day, he's like, "Man, I feel like I made a mistake." Anyways, long story short, they called me. I had Xena. Xena was a young pup, so that was a long time ago. And I think the track, Travis will probably correct me here, I can't remember. It was over 24 hours. I think it was 26, maybe 28 hours. Maybe it was 24. I don't know. And I couldn't handle her. So I just told Travis and his son, I said, "Hey, here's the dog. Here's my Garmin. See what you can do." And they found the deer. Now, Travis's background, 27 hours. See, I knew it was somewhere in there. Travis has a background in a lot of other dog work, some retriever field trial stuff, and of course your deer dogs and all that. But he's a heck of a houndsman, and that transitions over into what we do. And obviously there's different aspects, different training. But he took that dog, and she was, if I remember right, 6 months old at the time, and recovered that 27-hour-old deer. And you fast forward, what's it probably been, 7-8 years, something like that. Travis is out here tracking with us.
Yeah.
So Chuck Darby says, "I love to learn new things and techniques for tracking." Absolutely, we all do. And that's the thing with these events. We have people come from all over, from all different. They have all different styles and all. There's people that's probably watching this video right now or been on here that may not share some of this information in these comments, or they're just sitting back watching, listening to us, reading the comments, that are phenomenal trackers. They could help, and they show up to these events and we don't even know who they are.
Yep.
And it may be sometimes that guy just sitting back in the corner, and he may just say one or two lines, and it's something that I never thought about, and it stick with me forever. Al Sherman, you go to an event, I could sit and listen to Al Sherman for hours and hours, probably days. Just the stories, and just learn so much. Well, looks like things are slowing down. Comments are slowing down. It's not too late to sign up for any of these events. And I know we've been talking about this Georgia event because it's our first one of this season. Don't forget about the Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama. So we'll be in Stockton, Georgia this weekend. The very next weekend we will be in Louisiana. Then we'll have a, I guess you'd say, a break. We will be in Alabama. We'll be promoting that one the very next week, and we will be in Mississippi. So if you're, yeah, it's not that bad of a drive even from Alabama to the Mississippi event. So come test your dogs or hang out at Alabama and plan to go to Mississippi the next weekend.
And as we get more judges, we'll have a bit broader range of where we can do the private tests too. So
correct.
Just call, ask questions. We'll try to hook up.
Yeah, if you go on the website, you have access to everyone. Where you can, it's under the testing tab. You can email Stacy and request a private test. If we have a judge in the area, her and Carrie will get you squared away. If not, we will find a way to get you some help. Brad Shoemaker, will your events be educational? 100% educational.
Yep.
Ralph, do you have the outline handy?
Nope. Yeah.
If not, I can pull it up.
I could grab it real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I can pull it up on here. I do have it. Never mind, he got it faster than I can pull it up. So, Brad, just to kind of share with you our what do you call this? Outline agenda. That's it. So our agenda for this event, of course, we're going to have welcome and prayer. We are going to have someone speak on snake avoidance, and this guy, let me tell you, we put a little video out on our Facebook of Todd Beavis when he spoke on the snake avoidance and the science behind it. And one thing that stuck when he said, and if you go back and you watch that video, you'll hear him say, "A dog thinks through its nose." And that's something I will never forget him saying that. And because it's not only for the snake avoidance, but when you think of it like that, and you go out there and you're training this dog, you're watching your dog, and you just watch it think through its nose. That's something that stuck with me.
Yep. On that, we still have some openings for the snake avoidance. I'm actually getting 4 dogs done this weekend. We've heard some great things since we had him out at our summer event last year.
Yep.
And so I'm getting my 4 dogs done. Like you're getting one, Jason's getting one. Yep. And we've still got plenty of slots left open if anybody wants to put their dogs through the snake avoidance. I think it's $150.
Yes.
And
worth every penny. I mean,
absolutely.
When you put all this time and money,
thousands of dollars in these dogs, and if it helps one time, it's worth it.
That's right. So we have Todd. Todd's going to speak on snake avoidance again, and man, I love listening to him speak. Yeah. We have someone going over training techniques. Actually, 2 people going over training techniques. Myron Graham is going to be there. He's a vet. He's actually one of the vets that I use and Ralph uses. He did great last time.
Yep.
So he will be back. We have hit side analysis, tools for the track, hunter interview and control the track, technology for tracking. We have the Georgia DNR going to be there since this is a Georgia event. What would you do? That was a huge hit in our July event. So as you can see, Brad, everything is educational. The what would you do topic, if there's anything that you don't want to miss, that's one. That was so much fun. There was a lot of
Interaction.
a lot of audience interaction. We went over different scenarios. We picked on Jason Bell a lot. He makes himself an easy target. Y'all probably seen that last week. I had to get another dig in on Jason there, but we do love Jason. But we put up some pictures, different scenarios, and we asked people, what would you do? What do you think? If you've seen this at a wound bed or a hit site, what would you do? Well, then if you found out these details later on in the track, what would you do? And it wasn't just about hit site and wound bed. There was stuff about how to handle certain situations with hunters, and just a lot of really good educational things with a lot of audience participation. That was probably, and you and I put that together, and that was probably my favorite part. And I wasn't even in the audience don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but I didn't get it from that perspective, and I still had so much fun with it.
Yep. Because I've been out on tracks going, I need to bring this up at the next seminar because something weird happened. And I'm sure all of you run into that. Well, that's what we're looking for. And that's what we bring up just in case it ever happened to you out in the woods. You'll know what to, how we handled it or how it got handled or how not to handle it. Because that doesn't mean it's always a positive thing. Some crazy crap happens out there in the woods.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, you walk up on a car with a skeleton sitting in it. So yes, Brad, as you can see, it's 100% educational. Do we love tracking stories? I love tracking stories.
Yeah.
Will there be tracking stories?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. There will be tracking stories within these topics. Yeah, but the focus is educational. We will have some campfire stories, a lot of small groups breaking off and people, just talking, tracking, and talking life in general, and building some bonds. And so that's one thing we said when we first started this. One of the things that led to us doing this, was that educational aspect. There was a need, there was a
100%.
Desire for more educationally based events. And we got a puppy running by. Kayla thinks she's taking this puppy home. So when we were bringing this dog back for Kayla, I told her, sorry, you're not getting this dog. And she says, I need a picture of my baby. I said, what baby?
I see that Perry said he wanted to do the snake avoidance. Anybody can go on the website. We have you can go and pay on it, and we'll get you scheduled.
Yes.
So,
and please go on there and sign up for your membership as well. It does help us to be able to do things like this. Michael Knight, all the dogs get the snake shot every year. There's been a lot of controversy all over the platforms and different vets saying that, the snake vaccine doesn't work. It's made from Western Diamondback and we have Easterns. That is something that Myron Graham went over, the vet that spoke in July. And he is right in the heart of quail plantation country. He treats a lot of these dogs. And if you've ever quail hunted, it is rattlesnake country. It's rattlesnake territory. And he will tell you it 100% helps.
It's an extremely high percentage if you get the shots. And if you can get the dog to him in a certain amount of time, which I think it's like 3 hours.
Without the vaccine, you have up to 3 hours. Maybe it may not make it that long. But one thing he spoke at, and I'll go back and watch, but one thing he spoke about, he said it significantly increases the amount of time that you have to get there.
Gotcha.
And it reduces the amount of antivenom that has to be used to treat that bite.
Yeah.
And it's cheap.
Yeah.
What was it? It was less than $30.
Yeah, it's not.
So
once again, you're thousands of dollars for these dogs hours and upon hours of training, it's just worth it. It's not even a question to me.
Yeah. So you and I both had it done on the same day, actually. So I had two dogs. I had one of my bird dogs, and then Otto. I had him, and I need to get the rest in there. But so we went there, and he administered the vaccine. Had to go back 2 weeks later for a booster, right?
Yep.
It was 2 weeks later for a booster. So the first year you're in just over $50. Then after that, it's once a year. Some vets do it twice a year, but Dr. Graham recommends once a year. So little over $25 a year. If it saves your dog, is it not worth it? Um, and we have had some dogs lost in our state. Some pretty good dogs that got rattlesnake bit. And I'm sure one of them's on here. I'm sure if you ask him if he could do it over again and pay that $25 or that $150 for snake avoidance, he'd do it to save that dog. Jason Bell finally chimed in. What in the world? Where have you been, Jason? Your meeting was at 6:30, wasn't it? Come on, priorities, Jason. He says if you're interested in starting tracking, this seminar is a good place to get aimed in the right direction. That's right. So Coda Stewart says, I'm late, but I'm here now. And Coda, we've been talking about you a lot in this video tonight. Yeah, that was some good dog work. And Perry Lawrence, vets down here won't give it. Said it won't help with the Eastern, need to find one. Perry, go see Dr. Graham.
Yep.
He will be there at the event, and I know he will gladly take Jed as a patient. And I know it's a drive. He's in Valdosta, Georgia, but you come up and you hunt Perry. It's not that far from Perry. Drive up there.
I drive 2 hours for every visit now because of his attitude, his, once again, customer service scenario that I'm so highly on, and he's passionate about our dogs, and that's hard to find sometimes. So I made a decision last year. I'm going to, after the seminar, I'm going, and he's going to be my vet. The main one was, he said, if you're my customer, you call me at 3 a.m, I'm coming up to the hospital to take care of your dog if you need me to. That's right. All I needed to hear, because we don't get in trouble at lunchtime usually. It's when nothing's open and you're panicking. And I said, that's what I need. So,
and I will tell you from personal experience, I know for a fact he's not lying, because we needed him. It was a Sunday. I want to say we got there at 6:00 at night or in the evening on a Sunday, and he was
out eating.
Yeah, he was out to dinner, and Brandy called him and said, "Hey, we got a sick dog. We need some help." He said, "When can you be at my office?" And we got there, and he was there waiting on us. And not just that, that same dog, they treated that dog and ended up having an issue that it was out of anyone's hands. But he went out of the country, and there was another vet there on standby. But while he was out of the country, he called and checked on the dog and asked us. He texted us. He would text us videos. He texted us videos of his daughter playing with the dog in their yard. And then the dog took a turn for south, and we had to go back. And he was out of the country. He still took time out of his schedule and called and checked up on us and spoke with the other vet, and they worked together. You can't ask for more than that. We do have a good vet locally where we're at, but we don't get the service from them that we do from Dr. Graham, especially those late nights and weekends. You can't be beat. Randy Vick said Dr. Graham's vaccine price is a third of what most vets have gone up to. Yes, and I'm telling you, he's a great guy. He really is. London Young, testing both days. London, there's testing 3 days. Actually, we could do testing Thursday evening if we needed to. We're going to have the judges there. So we are having a judges meeting, a judges workshop, and a judges dinner to kick things off and get all the judges on the same page and be prepared for the weekend. So London, yes, we will have testing every day. So yeah. William Russell said, "Love what y'all are doing. Great job, guys." Thank you, William.
Thank you.
We appreciate that feedback. We're not looking for praise, but it does help motivate us because, like I said, I've been on the road the last few days. Traveled across 8 states, got home at I think 1:30 in the morning last night, and got up, came 2 hours here today to do this, and we got a 2-hour drive home. My wife puts up with it.
Sure.
So I believe Coda said I'll get caught back up, excited for the weekend. Let me tell you, Coda's excited. when we got there yesterday, he said my wife, he woke up and he said my wife asked me what I was dreaming about, that he was excited in his sleep. He said, I was dreaming about this weekend, this tracking event. That makes it all worth it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There, and Coda's he's a great guy. So it looks like people are signing up for stuff right now.
Cool.
So we appreciate the support from everyone. And if y'all don't have any last minute questions, we'll start wrapping things up. So if you have anything, get it in quick. And if not, you can always reach out to myself, Ralph. So my email is kenny@americanbloodtrackers.org. Ralph's
at americanbloodtrackers.org. If you've got any testing issues, it's testing at americanbloodtrackers.org, and that'll be Stacy Frost will handle those. And then judges at americanbloodtrackers.org, and that'll be Carrie Patterson that's handling the judges. So
and if you have interest in learning more about judging, you can go on our website at www.americanbloodtrackers.org. Go under testing. There is a judge's application there. You can fill that out. We encourage new people or even veterans. I feel like we have a good training program in place.
Yeah.
We've developed some great judges. And we thoroughly appreciate everyone's support here. And we've got a very, very busy week ahead of us.
Yeah.
The
next week and a half. Whew.
Yes. So,
and are we going to do a live one next week, or are we going to be too busy next week getting ready for the other one?
It's up to you.
Well, it's up to you. You got a 2-hour drive, but we'll let y'all know ahead of time again if we're going to do next.
As Tuesday. Right now, my schedule's open. We'll probably go. I will probably go live, or we will probably go live at this event.
Oh yeah.
And we are going to we're not going to record the whole thing. We're going to get some video footage though.
Yep.
We're all really busy. We had a videographer at the last one, and it was a help. He's busy for this one, but we will get some footage to share with everyone.
Jason's son, he does drone work, and he's going to come help us do a little bit of drone video. And
really?
If it's not raining.
Okay.
Or if it's raining. Where he normally works, because then he won't be able to fly. So we might have a drone.
Perfect. Perfect. And I did just purchase a drone. I got to learn how to fly that thing. I did purchase the insurance because I figure I'm gonna end up crashing it or in a tree or something. And I got 2 boys that will probably sneak it out and tear it up on me.
Infrared?
What's that?
Infrared?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to admit or not. No, that is coming. That is coming. That is not for this one, or this one does not have that feature, but that is coming. So again, we appreciate the support. You know how to reach out to us, and we'll help in any way we can.
We've had a couple of, before we go, we've had a couple of people ask us about the tracking shoes, and you can message Darren Miner about the shoes.
And let me see, I'll tag him here so that everyone can, we'll see if it'll let me. If not, I'll, okay, this program will not let me tag him, but I will go back on later on every platform and I will tag Darren Miner. So.
Yep. And that's all I can think of right now.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. If you guys have any questions at any point, you know, you can shoot us a message on Facebook, on the American Blood Trackers group or page. Join the American Blood Trackers group. It is open to anyone.
Yep.
You know, we do screen. Thank you, Jason, for tagging the right person this time. So there, feel free to get on the American Blood Trackers group. There's a lot of people with a lot of knowledge. It'll help with any questions you may have. You know, we encourage story sharing, questions, and you can ask questions all week that we will bring up in our videos. So we appreciate everyone, and we are going to sign off.
All right. See y'all next week.